Neuro MEP.NET Omega. To run the program, double-click on its icon located on the desktop. When the program is launched, you can see the main window. It contains menu, toolbars, and so-called Start page. Start page in turn contains the most popular menu commands. Before examination start, you should create a new examination. To do this, press the New Exam button. That the exam window appears. In this window, enter patient name, gender, date of birth, height and weight. Pay attention, you can enter patient date of birth, separating day, month and year by spaces. When you place cursor in other field, the program changes the format of the date to the acceptable one. Then enter patient height and weight. These fields are compulsory, because using this data the program calculates normal values of parameters. Press OK. In the window that appears, you can enter some clinical info. You can describe patient state or just specify his or her provisional diagnosis. For example, carpal tunnel suspected. After that, we can start EMG acquisition. The toolbar contains buttons corresponding to available EMG techniques: motor conduction velocity, sensory conduction velocity, F-wave, H-reflex, motor imaging, sensory imaging, needle EMG techniques, and various types of evoked potentials. To start motor conduction test, click on corresponding toolbar button. In the drop-down list that appears, you can choose the nerve for examination. If there is no required nerve, you can add a new one. We want to choose medianus nerve and start with the left side. To do this, choose the left side in the medianus line. Now you can see the window of motor conduction velocity test. EMG system is connected to PC, and you can work with program in the following ways. The first way is to use EMG system built-in keyboard. Our devices, such as Neuro MEP Micro version 2009 and Skybox, have built-in keyboards. The second way is to use wireless keyboard. These keyboards are compatible with any EMG system manufactured by Neuro. And the third way is to use mouse by clicking on toolbar buttons and menu commands. Then we should perform electrode placement. Neuro MEP.NET Omega software has a help system. To open the help window, press F1 button. At that, the help window appears on the screen. This window contains data on proper electrode placement. First of all, we should place lead electrodes connected to the amplifier unit. Electrode cable is connected to the first amplifier channel, and lead electrodes are connected to this cable. Negative electrode, it has a black cable, is placed on the head of abductor pollicis brevis muscle innervated by medianus nerve. Reference electrode, it has a red cable, is placed on the tendon, as shown in the figure. Then we should place stimulating electrode. It is placed on the projection of medianus nerve on carpal, about 1 cm below wrist, in the middle of carpal. Pay attention, you should mark the location of stimulating electrode by marker for the further measurements. Do not forget to place ground electrode. It is placed in such a way that it doesn't hinder the work of stimulating electrodes. Keep in mind that in the process of examination you will change the location of stimulating electrodes 1 or more times. Firstly, you will perform stimulation in the carpal zone, then in the band of elbow, etc. When you have finished with electrode placement, it is necessary to check electrode impedance in order to make sure that electrodes are placed properly. To do it, press button located on the device or wireless keyboard, or click on the corresponding toolbar button. As soon as you run the impedance check, the window with impedance values appears. Color indicators located to the left from impedance values show the quality of electrode placement. Green indicator corresponds to good quality of electrode placement, yellow to satisfactory, and red one to bad. The quality of electrode placement is satisfactory, and we can move to EMG acquisition. Close the window of impedance check. Warn the patient that the stimulation starts and it could be unpleasant. Set the stimulation current and produce the first stimulus. To do it, click on the corresponding toolbar or keyboard button. The first obtained curve appears on the screen. The program arranges markers and using them calculates the response amplitude. Amplitude of obtained response is displayed on the screen. Our goal is to obtain a supramaximal response amplitude, so we increase the value of stimulation current and repeat the stimulation. As we can see, the amplitude is not increasing. We can save results and move to the next stimulation point. To do it, click on the Stop Acquisition and Save Results toolbar button and replace stimulating electrode. Pay attention, the program saves curve and designates it as wrist. It is always the first stimulation point when you examine medianus nerve. Replace stimulating electrode to the band of elbow. If you forget where to place electrodes, open the Help window again by pressing F1 button. Perform stimulation in the second point. Observe the obtained curve. Increase the stimulation current value and produce second stimulus to make sure that obtained response is supramaximal. The amplitude doesn't increase, so the response is supramaximal. Click on the Stop Acquisition and Save Results toolbar button. Now we can work with saved curves. First of all, we can correct marker location. To do it, drag marker holding left mouse button pressed. As soon as you have finished with marker arrangement, you should enter required distances. You should measure the distance between minus of stimulating electrode in the first position and minus of lead electrode. Then you should measure the distance between minus of stimulating electrode in the first position to the minus of stimulating electrode in the second position. To enter measured values into program, press the F2 button on the keyboard or dedicated keyboard. Firstly, enter the first distance, 85, using knobs on the EMG system or using numeric keys of the keyboard. Press F2 buttons once more and enter the second distance, 240. Press F2 button to finish. Now the program has correct marker positions and can calculate latencies. Also, we entered distances, so the program can calculate the velocity, having time values. Calculated velocity on the wrist elbow distance is displayed on the screen. We can see that normal value is 60 meters per second, so the deviation is not significant. We finished with the motor conduction velocity technique for medianus nerve.